everybody, let's go over your day 4 morning work for today. Your first problem says 2/10 compared to 4/10. And 4/10 is going to be the bigger number. So we say 2/10 is less than 4/10. Okay, next we have write the decimal for 6/100ths, and we do that this way. You put a 0 in the ones place and then your decimal point. There are no tenths, so you put a 0 in the tenths place and a 6 in the hundredths place. So what you write is 0.06, but that's not how you read this. You read it 6/100ths, because as far as place value goes, this is the ones, then you have your decimal point, and this is tenths, and this is hundredths. Okay, so 6/100ths is how you read that. The next problem says Vanessa has 10 stickers. Oh, sorry, the directions say write the equation. Got to read the directions first. So write the equation. Vanessa has 10 stickers. Tara has 6 times as many stickers as Vanessa. How many stickers does Tara have? Okay, so our equation would be 10 times 6, and that's a basic fact, equals 60. So Tara has 60 stickers. All right, the very last problem is, in my opinion, the hardest one, because you're subtracting mixed numbers, and because it says 5 1/3 minus 2 2/3, you're going to have to regroup, because while we can do 5 minus 2, that's 3, and you have a common denominator here, which is 3. You'd think you'd just bring your common denominator over, but my problem is I can't do 1 minus 2, well, without getting into negative numbers, and we're not dealing with negative numbers here. So there are a couple different ways you can do this. Let me show you the first way. The first method would be to turn both of these mixed numbers into improper fractions. Subtract them, and then put your answer back as a mixed number. That might be the easiest way to go, so let's start there. Here's how we do that. Take your denominator, 3, multiply it by your whole number, and then you're going to add the numerator. That becomes your new numerator on top, and then you put that number over 3 as your denominator. So what I mean by all that, you would do 3 times 5 is 15, plus 1 makes 16, and then our denominator of the problem is 3. So you just bring that down. So 5 1/3 actually is the same thing as 16/3. Okay, then we have 2 2/3. We're going to do 3 times 2, that's 6, and then you add your numerator. 6 plus 2 becomes 8, and then put that over your denominator in the problem. So 2 2/3 turns into 8/3. And then all we have to do is subtract 16/3 minus 8/3. To do that, you bring over your denominator. 16 minus 8 is 8. And now I have to turn 8/3 back into a mixed number to put it in lowest terms. So all I do is 8 divided by 3. 3 goes into 8 2 whole times. 2 times 3 is 6, and 8 minus 6 is 2. So I have a remainder of 2. Put your remainder over your denominator. So 2 2/3. So my answer is 2 2/3. So that's the way you do that problem, by changing these into improper fractions and then turning it back into a mixed number. Okay, I'm going to erase my board quickly because I need a little more room to write. I want to show you the other method for doing that problem. Okay, the other way that you can do that is through mixed number regrouping. So we're going to say 5 1/3 minus 2 2/3. And what this involves is doing some substituting based on information you know. All right, so we're going to take 5 1/3. We're just going to look at that. That's the only number that we have to regroup. 2 2/3 can stay the same. So 5 1/3, let me ask you, you could separate 5 into 4 plus 1, right? Is that the same thing as 5? 4 plus 1? It sure is. And then don't forget about this 1/3. Okay, so I'm going to say 4 plus 1 plus 1/3. That's the same thing as 5 1/3. Now, what's the denominator in this problem? It's 3. I'm going to substitute now a fraction for 1 whole that has 3 as a denominator. Looky here. I'll go ahead and bring down my 4. But instead of saying 1, I'm going to change that 1 to 3/3. And then I'm going to bring down this 1/3. So that's just, again, substituting 3/3 for 1 because that's naming the same amount. And now that I've got 4 plus 3/3 plus 1/3, I'm going to combine this 3/3 and 1/3. And I'm going to make this 4 4/3. Okay, so I'm actually naming the same amount here. 4 4/3 is equivalent to 5 1/3. But now I'm going to be able to subtract 2 2/3, excuse me, there we go. I'm going to be able to subtract my 2 2/3 from 4 4/3. So let me just get a different color marker just to maybe be less confusing. And I'm going to bring this down. And we're going to say minus 2 2/3. You know what to do at this point because all you have to do is subtract your whole numbers and subtract your fractions. So what's 4 minus 2? 2. And what's 4/3 minus 2/3? Well, bring over your denominator and then just for your numerator, just do 4 minus 2. 2. So the answer to my problem is 2 2/3. Again, I could do it this way by regrouping 5 1/3, changing it to 4 4/3, and then subtracting 2 2/3 from that. Or I could do it the other way I showed you before I erased my board by changing both of these numbers to improper fractions, subtracting, and then turning my number back into a mixed number. So those are two different ways to do that. I think, personally, I don't know, Mrs. Farrell, Mrs. Miller, don't know if you agree with me on this, but I find subtracting mixed numbers to probably be one of the most challenging math concepts that we ask you to do in 4th grade. So if you understood how to do that, then bingo, yay, hooray for you. Give yourselves a pat on the back because I know that's not easy. You have to do a bunch of them before you feel comfortable with it. But there you go. That is your morning work for today. I'll post a picture of the ELA morning work and you'll be in good shape there. Tomorrow I don't plan to make a video to go along with your morning work assessment because it's an assessment, right? And we want to know what you know. I will take a look at that assessment tomorrow. I'll be honest, I haven't looked at it yet. I'll look at it in the morning and I'll see if there's anything that you might need a little guidance or a little help with. If you do, maybe I'll change my mind and post a video, or I might post a picture giving you that help. But if I don't think you need any help, then I'm not going to give it to you because I want you to be able to do this on your own. Okay? So do your best. I know you'll do a good job. I believe in you. Thanks, 4th grade. See you later.